So my dissertation will be sort of building orientated, but not that much. I'll be looking at reintroduction of old features of buildings that sort of lost their function over the time, and looking at what they were used for when they were originally put on that building, and how they can be taken and reused to improve environmental efficiency of the building and the sustainability. I'll be looking specifically on historic blinds. There are quite a lot of buildings around London that have these wooden boxes outside the windows, and they're now empty, but back in the past they used to have external blinds that would protect the buildings from heat gain in summer, and also because these blind boxes were usually on buildings that were kind of wealthy people lived there, or kind of historic kind of mansions and stuff. So they were also used for protection of the internal furnishings against light damage, because people back in the days were quite concerned if they used really precious silk furnishings and they had artwork on the walls that was expensive. They wanted to make sure that's protected against light. And I'll be looking at reintroduction of these blinds on a museum in a historic house in London, and so sort of looking at how would having those blinds on the building increase the lifespan of these objects inside, also on the impact of these blinds on relative humidity and temperature, which is another kind of damaging effect to the collections. Also, how much would the institution in general save money on running their air conditioning system, because they have massive issues with that. So if there's less heat gain, they need less cooling, and could save energy on that. Also, that affects lighting strategy in the building. And also, the thing that I might actually focus on is getting planning permission and having this historic feature introduced on a historic building, because there are planning permissions, and how would that be perceived by visitors.
I work on energy efficiency retrofit on historic European districts, and particularly in two large-scale case studies in Santiago de Compostela and Románico Atlántico, both in Spain. And it was a quite interesting research about how the large scale could help to retrofit more houses in terms of energy efficiency. And it was really, really interesting to go there to Spain and to work with the private and public sector in 1 week each to understand what are they doing about it, what projects are going on, and where are the challenges, and so on. Yeah. And finally, I try to summarize all the challenges and advantages on working on a large scale.
On my dissertation topic, I wanted to kind of address a lacking area in heritage planning, looking at identifying stakeholders and stakeholder interests with heritage buildings. Basically, what kind of methodology that I developed was looking at using heritage assessment value to develop to identify heritage values in properties, how that could be used to identify stakeholders and stakeholder interests on buildings over time. Topic-wise, I chose to do fruitalist architecture, particularly fruitalist residential architecture from the post-war period, because of the wealth of complexities dealing with conservation and protection of residential buildings where you've got residents and users. It's been quite a useful tool in terms of stuff that I've fed back into professional work, and it's also proving very useful now with projects with the empty spaces projects in Norway that we're going to be doing. A lot of that will hinge on looking at uses of buildings, current use and interests in terms of stakeholders, and past interests and uses in terms of getting these buildings back into use now. And the same with the community festival stuff that we're doing in Oslo. It's also got quite a lot of different stakeholders involved, so I'm using the tool for that as well. It's kind of, so yeah, that's a very simple explanation of